is a #1 national best-selling author that has been described as arguably the funniest writer working today by USA Today. Everyone can relate to his stories because they're about everyday life. Glenda Winters of San Diego Union County wrote, David Sedaris has gone to the well of pain and come back repeatedly with heart-tugging tales that would have readers in tears if they weren't so busy laughing. Today, I'm going to share with you a selection from this book called Me Talk Pretty One Day, entitled Big Boy. It was Easter Sunday in Chicago, and my sister Amy and I were attending an afternoon dinner at the home of our friend John. The weather was nice, and he'd set up a table in the backyard so that we might sit in the sun. Everyone had taken their places, so when I excused myself to visit the bathroom, there, in the toilet, was the absolute biggest turd I had ever seen in my life. No toilet paper or anything, just this long, coiled specimen as thick as a burrito. I flushed the toilet and the big turd trembled. It shifted position, but that was it. This thing wasn't going anywhere. I thought briefly of leaving it behind for someone else to take care of, but it was too late for that. Too late, because before getting up from the table, I stupidly told everyone where I was going. I'll be back in a minute, I said. I'm just going to run to the bathroom. My whereabouts was public knowledge. I should have said I was going to make a phone call. I planned to urinate and maybe run a little water over my face, but now I had to deal with this. The tank refilled and I made a silent promise. The deal was that if this thing would go away, I would repay the world by performing some unexpected act of kindness. I flushed the toilet a second time, and the big turd spun a lazy circle. Go on, I whispered. Scoot, shoot. I turned away, ready to perform my good deed, but when I looked back down, there it was, bobbing to the surface in a fresh pool of water. Just then, someone knocked on the door, and I started to panic. Just a minute! At an early age, my mother sat me down and explained that everyone has bowel movements. Everyone, she said, even the president and his wife. She mentioned our neighbors, the priest, and several actors we see each week on television. I'd gotten the overall picture, but natural or not, there was no way I was going to take responsibility for this one. Just a minute! I seriously considered lifting this turd out of the toilet and tossing it out the window. It honestly crossed my mind. But John lived on the ground floor, and a dozen people were seated at a picnic table 10 feet away. They'd see the window open and notice something dropping to the ground, and these were people who would surely gather around and investigate. Then there would be me, with my unspeakably filthy hands, trying to explain that it wasn't mine. But why bother throwing out the window if it wasn't mine? No one would have believed me except the person who had left it in the first place. And chances were pretty slim that that frequent question would suddenly step forward and own up to it. I was trapped. I'll be out in a second. I scrambled for a plunger and used the handle to break the turd into manageable pieces, all the while thinking that it wasn't fair that this technically was not my job. Another flush and it still didn't go down. Come on, pal, let's do it. While waiting for the tank to refill, I thought maybe I should wash my hair. It wasn't dirty, but I needed some excuse to cover the amount of time I was spending in the bathroom. Quick, I thought, do something. By now, the other guests were probably thinking I was the type of person who uses dinner parties to defecate and catch up on my reading. Here I come, I'm just washing up. One more flush, and it was all over. The thing was gone and out of my life. I opened the door to find my friend Janet, who said, well, it's about time. And I was left thinking that the person who'd abandoned the huge turd had no problem with it, so why did I? Why the big deal? Had it been left there to teach me a lesson? Had a lesson been learned? Did it have anything to do with Easter?